Hey everybody, Christopher here, and I am sick today, so my voice is going to sound a little raspy, but I think it's about time. Well, honestly, I've been so busy, this is the only time I have to share that I have been writing for Film Threat. Chris Gore approached me and asked if the articles I was writing on my Substack would be something I'd be interested in publishing on Film Threat, and I was very honored. I thought it was a great opportunity. He wanted me to write specifically about AI and filmmaking. Most times I will cover AI. Sometimes I will deviate a little bit and just talk about indie filmmaking, the spirit of indie filmmaking. So I thought today I would read one of my articles for you because the articles, they get published and they get pushed down. I will leave a link to each article that I read in the description. So we're starting off with the first one that I wrote today, which is How Hollywood Lost Its Soul and Indie Filmmaking Can Steal It Back with AI. And I might pepper in a little bit of commentary while I do this. Just to add to what I have to say, Chris Gore described me as an advocate for AI, which I actually would not specifically say I'm an advocate for AI. I'm an advocate for indie filmmakers. I'm an advocate for small businesses. I'm an advocate for taking your destiny into your own hands. And I believe AI can be part of that. By the way, if you do go to Film Threat, sign up for their email, because Film Threat fits with that mission statement. I really want... Oh, hi, Stormy. My cat is in my lap, so if you hear any purring or meowing, that's why. I want you to go create, and I don't want people telling you how you can or can't create. I'm kind of just really bored of the lies being told about AI. It is not the case that it is stealing, and I'll address that. But let's go into this article, because this article is going to address a little bit about that. So anyway, again, How Hollywood Lost Its Soul and Indie Filmmaking Can Steal It Back with AI. Let's see. Let's get started. Imagine Hollywood in its gritty heyday. A nickel bought a working man or woman a ticket to a story that roared with life. It was a raw, untamed spirit, the kind that still flickers in an indie filmmaker grabbing a camera to shoot something bold, something real, against all odds. Back then, movies belonged to everybody. Today, sky-high prices locked that same worker out. What happened? Rationalism crept in, promising to perfect the chaos with logic and data. Box office stats, audience trends, safe bets. It sounded smart, but it grew rigid, piling on rules and systems until it became a bureaucracy that snuffed out the fire that built Hollywood. This isn't just a tech tale. It's a creativity crisis. And indie filmmaking with AI might be the way to fight back. Hollywood's collapse started before AI. Boy, my voice is very raspy. I apologize. Let me see if I can clear it up a little. The rot set in long before AI sparked headlines. Guilds like SAG-AFTRA and the WGA once guaranteed quality, funneling top talent to studios. Over time, that shifted. The barriers weakened, letting unpolished newcomers flood in, armed with politics, not craft. They leaned on bureaucracy to climb, sidelining seasoned pros who could have mentored them. Then streaming took over. Studios saw fast track past theaters and DVDs, churning out cheap content with underpaid interns instead of investing in art, without any thought or preparation for the future. Movies became lectures conceived by dull wits, not escapes, and audiences walked away. The cash slowed, the economic bubble shrank, all because the industry chased short-term wins over long-term vision. Blaming AI for this mess is like blaming a mirror for a bad haircut. It just reflects what is broken. Creativity is remixing, not reinventing. And here's a little bit of where I debunk the AI myth of stealing. Let's talk about creativity, the heart of filmmaking. Picture this. You've seen buses, big and clunky, rolling through town. You know purple from a crayon box, fur from a pet's coat. Close your eyes, mix them up, and you could sketch a bus wrapped in purple animal fur, wild and fresh, born from what you've observed. I want you to imagine that too. Close your eyes. Imagine what that looks like. That's the gist of Kirby Ferguson's online documentary titled Everything is a Remix. Highly recommend, by the way. Art thrives by blending what's come before. AI in filmmaking does the same. Feed it buses, colors, textures, and it learns to spot patterns, then spins out that purple furry bus from nothing. It's not theft. It's transformation, a tool indie filmmakers can wield to dream big on a shoestring without having to risk decades of their lives, and unshackled from Hollywood's budget bloat and endless workshopping with limited vision thinkers. 2 points. I'm going to digress from the article for a second. Limited vision thinkers was a term that stood out to me in an interview with a special effects artist that I used to work for named Alec Gillis. He was talking about James Cameron and how he would have all these different ideas about how to make things work. And he would always get people wagging their finger at him saying, I don't think this is going to work. But he didn't have time for them. And he made it work. He proved them wrong. The other thing as well is just going back to this Everything's a Remix documentary. I do highly recommend it because it explains a lot about copyright and the public square and public domain. Copyright was never intended to last as long as, say, Disney has made it last with their properties. Copyright is there to ensure that we have incentive to create, but we also want a robust public domain so that we can continue to remix and to innovate, to build off of what other people have created. If you don't, then our creative drive stagnates and our economy stagnates. So a public domain is important, as well as a public square and being able to create transformative works without fear of being sued. Anyway, the anti-AI crowd's hidden agenda. Okay, now the anti-AI chorus, what I call AI derangement syndrome, screams danger. Dig deeper, and it's murkier than it looks. Big tech fuels this fear. That's very important to note. Big tech, the people who are creating their own AIs, fuel this fear, nudging guilds and stars who don't grasp markets or open source code into a panic. Why? Control. They want AI locked down so they can lobby politicians equally lost on tech's tide, pushing rules that choke small players. It's a monopoly move, not a moral stand for human creativity or copyright, crushing the indie spark in the creative economy. Then there's the faded star. Think Norma Desmond from Sunset Boulevard. She shot a man in the back for daring to speak the truth, then posed for the cameras over his corpse, chasing delusional fame. Today's versions, Today's versions bash AI for relevance, knifing new talent to steal one last spotlight, blind to the wreckage that they leave, all while having the nerve to invoke ethics. Indie filmmaking's Thymotic revival. By the way, look up Thymotic. Very interesting concept. Don't let them dim your fire. Hollywood's fumble is your shot. That drive to make something real, that gut push to create, lives in anyone ready to grab the tools. Indie filmmaking has never been freer. A cheap camera, free software, and AI to craft scenes only studios can afford. The audience for what you want to do may not be blockbuster size, but there are enough of them out there waiting for what you have to offer to give you a decent living out of your dreams. Blend the old ways, grit, and heart with these new powers, and you'll spin stories even AI coders couldn't dream up solo. The naysayers, scared of every fresh tide, want to smash it before it blooms. Tune them out. Stand your ground. Their abuse is affirmation that you're heading in the right direction. We've always woven past into future, and AI's just another thread. Seize it, shape it, and show the world that the human spirit still outshines the machine they dread. So, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed that. I will continue to advocate for AI to be used by independent artists as a tool, not the only tool, by the way. I think if you lean too heavily on any one given tool, you're just going to get the same result over and over again. It is important, as I stated in this article, to mix things. Mix the tools you use, mix the ideas you have, mix the old with the new, but go and create, and don't let anybody tell you how you can or can't do it. Most likely they're not creating themselves. Most likely the people who want to criticize you for the tools you use were never going to buy what you were doing anyway. They were never going to be your audience. And your success or failure has nothing to do with them whatsoever. They don't care about you. They never did. They wouldn't notice you unless they wanted to find somebody to criticize. That's the funny thing, right? These people would never pay attention to you or care if you lived or died. But as soon as you do something that might help you, they jump all over you for it. It's like they want to cut down anything they see growing because they themselves are afraid to grow. So that's all I'm going to say. Thanks for listening. I will be back to read my other articles from Film Thread, and I will leave a link, to this article in the description. Thanks for watching.